Hi, hello, happy Friday, Svetan Petak. I am Sarah of Expat in Croatia, and this is 5 Question Friday. Every Friday at 5 o'clock Croatia time, we answer 5 questions about Croatia from people who have sent them in on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, expatinCroatia.com, YouTube, our consulting sessions, and people who send them to us through ASMR. Will you make all of my Croatia dreams come true? Hello, how are you? Oh my gosh, I'm on a bit of a high. I will not lie. So, for those of you who have been here for a while, last summer I got invited to join the Brotherhood of Croatian Dragons, which on Croatian is Braća Hrvatskog Zmaja, and it is invitation only. They are an organization that started in 1905, and their mission is to preserve Croatian heritage and history. And it is a huge honor, and when the Meister Dragon, like the head dragon, asked me to join, tears shot out of my eyes, and I think I made him a bit uncomfortable. but it's a very big deal, and there are a lot of significant people from Croatian history who have been dragons. And, I'm a weird case because I don't have Croatian heritage, and yet somehow they think that I would be a good member. So I had to fill out an application, which I did. I submitted that in January, and then they put my name up on a board in the dragon lair to see if anyone had an objection to me joining, but also there's like 9 other candidates who are also in my class, I guess you could say. And so I got past those 2 hurdles, and then today we were all called in to make a 3 to 5 minute presentation in front of the Dragon Council. So it was not a non-intense situation. It was intense for me speaking, because, because it's like I'm there as me in a room with 14 Croatian men who are probably all 50 plus, I'd have to say. Most are probably 40, they're all 45 plus. So, I'm not fluent, not Croatian, the only woman in the room, but I prepared, and I worked on a 5-minute speech, really well, and I had to talk about who I am, what I've done, and how I can contribute to the organization in 5 minutes. So I did really well. I was so nervous. I said the first kind of paragraph in Croatian. I said the last bit on Croatian, and it was great. And they really well received everything I said. They really loved it. They all clapped. And someone came up to me afterwards and said, I just want to shake your hand. Thank you so much. We really are glad to have you as a member. And it just made me feel so good. So, I just have been like a wreck all week trying to prepare for this, and I'm glad it's behind me. So now what happens is I have to, they're going to let me know whether or not I pass this thing, go to the next stage. And the next stage is I'm on a probationary thing for 6 months, and during which I have to do some projects to kind of show the value that I have as a member. And it's very exciting. Thank you, Eve. I see you, Cinnamon Cacharo. Yeah, thank you so much. Yay! So I'm all just kind of pumped about that. Oh, by the way, I'm in Zagreb. Yes, I flew in last night, and I came in just for this. But I got to see Cam this morning, which was cool. We had a coffee. And now I'm here. I'm in the upper town in Gornji Grad, and it's kind of windy and a little cold. So this is the place I could find that was a little bit protected so it wouldn't be too loud. So there's some new graffiti behind me. See? Okay, what else do I want to tell you guys? Well, I'm back in Croatia, duh. I was in the United States for 5 weeks, which is the longest I've ever gone home to visit ever. So it was a long time to be away from Croatia. So the first few days I was back in Split, it felt like a mirage. I was having an out of body experience. Am I really here? I don't really know. There are Croatian diaspora out there who come to Croatia 6 months out of the year. And I can't imagine what that's like to be gone for 6 months, come back for 6 months, that transition between the two places must be really strong. I don't know. But yeah, now I realize I'm back in Croatia. What else do I want to tell you? Oh yeah. So Wednesday was Split City Day, which is also the culmination of the festival of Saint Duje, Sveti Duje, who is the patron saint of Split. And again, those of you who have been following for a really long time know that is my favorite day of the year for multiple reasons. One, I love Split. Split City Day is a super fun day. The whole town comes out into the palace onto Riva. So it's like a giant block party. And the other reason is because it's my anniversary of living in Croatia. So, there's students staring at me now. Anyways, so I've now been in Croatia for 13 years. I had my Crow anniversary, which, you know what? I'm grateful for every single year that I get to live in Croatia. So I just love being here. Obviously. What else do I want to tell you? Oh yeah, my birthday's next week, so I'm going to Vienna. So that should be fun. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dig into the questions now, all right? So this first question comes from Thomas on the 5 Question Friday forum. I'm a citizen of the United States. My spouse is a citizen of Croatia and the U.S. I received temporary residence for 2 years. The rule is that I can't be out of Croatia for more than 2 months in a year. How strict are they with that rule? Can I be denied extension if I stay out for more than 2 months? So what he's asking, so he has residence based on family reunification with his Croatian spouse, okay? So he has residence for 2 years based on family reunification, all right? Now, when you are here on temporary residence, there's a specific amount of time that you have to stay in the country to maintain your residence. And there's also a limit on how long you can be gone from Croatia to maintain your residence. If you break those rules, they can cancel your residence permit. So for those who have a permit for up to 2 years, the law states that your permit can be canceled if you stay abroad for more than 180 days in that 2-year period, or if you're gone for more than 60 days at once. So his information about his limits aren't completely accurate. So I want to make sure that we correct that understanding, okay? So it's 180 days in a 2-year period, or not more than 60 days at one time. So if you only have a 1-year permit, you can't be gone for more than 90 days in 1 year and not more than 30 days at once. So if you have a 2-year permit, then you double all of that. Okay, so those are the limitations. Now, yes, they are serious about it. It is in the law. So if you violate that, you have to understand that you are taking a risk in violating the law, and that they do have a right to cancel your permit if you violate that. Okay, now, I think that if this person is married to a Croatian and they're staying here based on family reunification, the biggest risk to them is not that they're going to cancel their temporary residence permit. It's that they're not going to qualify for permanent residence when the time comes. So if you're married to a Croatian spouse, you can apply for permanent residence after you've had 4 years of continuous temporary residence. But they are going to look at how long you've been gone during that period. They are going to scrutinize it. So when I applied for long-term residence, which is the equivalent, they the police officer looked at my travel records for the previous 5 years in front of me. You know, so if you are gone more than a certain amount of time, then for that entire 4-year period, then you may not get permanent residence. You may get denied. And I have seen multiple people get denied because they were gone from Croatia for too long over the course of the period on which they were trying to request long-term or permanent residence. So that is That's what you have to keep in mind about it. So we do have a guide on the travel restrictions during residence, both for temporary and permanent and long-term, as well as if you're a UK person, because if you're a UK person that has residence before Brexit, then there are special rules that apply to you. So if you would like that guide, send us a DM on Instagram, or if you're on YouTube, there's a link down in the description below. Everybody else, drop us a comment and we will get that over to you, okay? Or just go to expatinCroatia.com. It's pretty easy to find there. All right, so I did see a couple of comments up here. Jeff, thank you so much for the well wishes, and Bukad, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. Okay, all right, so next this comes from Megan on the 5-question Friday forum. I get bi-weekly allergy shots to help control my allergy-induced asthma. Is allergy immunotherapy common in Croatia, and is it covered by health insurance? So this kind of therapy is available in Croatia. However, there's not a guarantee that the exact same therapy that you use is going to be available in Croatia. You can go two routes in terms of getting it covered. So the state health insurance is run by HZZO. It's called Obvezno. So you can start by going to your family doctor, which is always your first point of contact on public insurance, and saying, hey, I need to see a specialist. So that would be a pulmonologist or an allergologist. I've never said that word before. However, the wait to see one of those doctors through the public system can take months. It can take months. Alternatively, you can visit a private specialist and then give the prescription that they give you to your family doctor, and then they can issue a prescription on the public insurance. That's a really common thing that we do here in Croatia. Is if it's going to take too long to go see a public doctor, we'll see a private doctor and then give that prescription to our family doctor on the public insurance so that they can reissue it and we don't have to pay for it or have a minimal payment on it, okay? There's no guarantee that a public doctor is going to speak English to you, but you do have a much better chance of them speaking English if you go to a private doctor. Can Croat, thank you so much, Daryl. Okay, so we have a guide on the basic state health insurance, what it costs, what it includes. So again, you know how to find us to get that guide from us, okay? Next question comes from Barbara on the 5-question Friday forum. Having traveled throughout the country over the past 3 years, we are now preparing to move to Croatia. The cities and water are exceptionally clean. So how does trash disposal work in Croatia? Are there landfills? Are there sewage water treatment plants? And viewing properties outside the city limits, do they have septic systems? And are they monitored by the county and pumped regularly? So there's strict enforcement here in the U.S. Okay, so Croatia uses landfills. Some are in better states than others. Cities have regular garbage collection, and that's often managed by a city-owned company. So like in Split, it's called Čistoća. Most areas now have separate waste containers, so they're all color-coded for mixed waste, paper, plastic, metal, and that's usually scheduled weekly or bi-weekly for trash collection, depending on where you are. In villages, waste pickup exists, but it's often less frequent, okay? And in most urban areas, they are connected to a centralized sewage system that leads to modern water treatment plants. Now, outside cities, many homes use septic tanks. Central sewage infrastructure may be limited or non-existent, although it is not strictly required by law. It is generally recommended that septic tanks be emptied every 3 to 5 years or sooner if needed. And I do remember talking to a friend of mine who lived off the grid. They had a septic tank, and I asked them about that, and they're like, well, we actually just put tablets or something inside the septic tank, and then it just, I don't know, eats away everything in there. So there's a few different ways that people go about cleaning their septic tanks. But no, there's not a strict enforcement like you're experiencing in the U.S. Now, we have a couple of guides how to recycle in Croatia, and then also one on Zagreb's trash system. The reason we have a guide on Zagreb's trash system is because it's very unique in comparison to all the other trash systems in Croatia. In most trash systems, you just pay a flat rate per person in your household, but Zagreb's trash system is different, where you have to pay for the mixed waste bags. So they're trying to encourage you to recycle. So the more you recycle, the less you need to buy their bags, essentially, all right? And they also have some very strict like fines and limitations and stuff. So if you want that stuff, you know where to find us, expatandcroatia.com, or message, comment, you know, video description on YouTube, all the things, okay? Next is Hannah AK here on Instagram. I'm going to take a pause because we have some comments. Ken Croat, also note that Zagreb water is very hard and leaves calcium deposits everywhere, also dries out the skin. Yeah, I find that water in Croatia is pretty hard. My guess is that it is harder in other places and in some places than others. I know that in Split, like, yeah, it's definitely a thing. Even when I water my plants, this kind of white crust like shows up on the soil because of all of the minerals in the water. It can make it a little bit harder to clean like showers and tubs and stuff. So that's a very good point for sure. Diddles and Wookum, what's their banking system like? Do they have checking accounts? I keep seeing Giro accounts, but I have no idea what that means. Okay, so Giro accounts, those are for, I haven't worked with Giro accounts in a while. Giro accounts are very specific types of accounts for accepting funds related to work, but not all kinds of work. So that wouldn't be the account that you would sign up for. That's not a checking account. So they do have checking accounts. They do have accounts that are like kind of like a savings account. They have money market accounts. So like they have pretty much all the same kinds of accounts that you probably have in any other industrialized nation. They do not have free checking. That is not a thing. You will have to pay for the cost to have an account. You'll have to pay for the cost to have online banking. Online banking is when you are logging in like via a computer, which is different than mobile banking, which is also a fee. So there's a fee for pretty much everything for sure. Like even if you're going to pay a bill through your mobile application, usually most banks charge a fee. But if you do it without a bank, then there's a higher fee. So yeah, I'd say that those are kind of the biggest highlights. We do have a guide on the 7 largest banks in Croatia, and it kind of goes over kind of the different aspects of the banks, who owns the banks, their services, their costs. We just updated that post, I want to say. So if you go to expatandcroatia.com and you type in banks into the search bar, you're going to find that guide, and it's going to give you a pretty solid understanding of what the biggest banks are in Croatia and what they offer. Okay, let me go back down here. Cam, there's Cam. We have water softener and it has made all the difference. Ooh, cool. Where do you put the water softener? Just out of curiosity. All right. Cool. All right, so let's go back to the questions. Okay. Now, we're back at Hannah AK here on IG. What are the requirements for the 3 years working and residence permit? Okay, so first, if you want a 3-year work permit, you need to get a work contract or employment offer for 3 years. That is the biggest thing. Now, of course, there are requirements for applying for the permit, but that's the biggest one. If you want 3 years, you need to have a work contract that offers you a 3-year contract. I'm going to go off on like a tiny tangent real quick, just a tiny one. This 3-year permit is something new that they just added to the law on foreigners that is active from March 15th, 2025. And I think it's good, and I understand what their motivation for doing that is, because my guess is, based on context, is that they want employers to, not have to go through applying every single year for someone's work permit. Okay, that also makes it easier on the worker, and they get a little bit more job security. I totally get that. I just don't think that an employer is going to offer someone a 3-year permit right out of the gate, because they don't know you. You're not tried and true. It's not super easy to let go of an employee here. It's not at-will employment. So I would think that the people who are going to have the best chance of getting a 3-year work permit are someone who, like, they're getting a job through a connection, or they've already worked for this employer for a year or 2 years and have proven that they are dedicated and they're a good worker, in which case then they may give them a 3-year work permit. So, little tangent on the side. That's it. Okay. So just to kind of quickly go over the other requirements, you have to have a passport, you know, proof that you can fulfill the requirements of the job. So education, work experience, or a certification, the work contract, like I said, and a legalized background check. So we have a guide on how to apply for a work permit in Croatia. And also, if you are an employer trying to hire a foreigner, then this post will apply to you as well. And thanks for the tip, Cam. Thank you for clarifying. All right, this one is this. This is our last question for today. So this is from Michelle on the 5-Question Friday forum. I was told that since my grandmother, born in Yugoslavia in 1921, before the war, you know what? I'm going to start reading that again. I was told that since my grandmother was born in Yugoslavia before the war, that I can't go through the lineage path to citizenship as it was a different country. Is that true? No, it's not true. That is not true at all. So when we're talking about applying for citizenship based on descent, your ancestor needs to have been born on the modern territory of Croatia and then permanently emigrated abroad. That's the rule. So it doesn't matter what country this territory was at the time that they were born. What matters is that today, in the current Croatia, it is Croatia. Now, there is one exception to this, and that is I have seen cases where people have been approved for citizenship who were born in Bosnia and Herzegovina because their family was ethnically Croatian and they also permanently moved abroad out of the Balkans, okay? Or out of the former Yugoslavia, I should say. That's a better way to say it. So that is another situation where I've seen people get citizenship based on lineage, and it has to be in a straight line. So no, you don't have to worry about that. So we do have a guide on how to apply for Croatian citizenship by descent. Of course, we have endless resources about how to apply for Croatian citizenship. So if you would like that, it's down below on YouTube. You can DM us on Instagram. Everybody else, just drop a comment and we can get you these resources, okay? So those are all of our questions for today. I see one question. Let's see. How Croatian citizenship process can you tell Hrvatski language? I'm not sure I understand the question, but if you can rephrase it, maybe I can answer for you. So the last thing I want to do today is I just want to show you a little bit of Zagreb, okay? So I'm just going to walk up these stairs and I'm going to show you the view because the sun is kind of out. I wouldn't say it's coldly out. But let's see if we can see a little bit of Croatia, shall we? All right, let me just gently pick you up here. And let me do this, bring you down here to my level, okay? All right, so we're gonna come over and go up the stairs. So this is the graffiti, everybody. Isn't that nice? All right, so first we're gonna go through this little corridor. So down here, there, that's a Banjelacic down over there. And then, oh yeah, the sun's out. Okay, I'm going to take you back upstairs now because we'll be able to see the cathedral. Although it's under construction, because it's always under construction. It finally was fixed, and then we had the earthquake in 2020, and now it's under construction again, which is very sad. But, oh yeah, okay, so when I first got here to start this, it was really super cloudy, and now the sun is out and the sky is blue. So you'll be able to get a great view of everything. Okay, all right. I'm scurrying over, I'm scurrying. Okay. All right, guys, you ready? Here we go. hope you enjoyed the view. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so pumped. So now I'm going to go meet a couple of friends and celebrate the fact that I am on the other side of my dragons presentation. And then I'm going to fly back to Split and go to sleep for a long time. So thank you for being here again. I love this time with you. I'm happy to be back in Croatia. And if you want to see your question answered, then drop us a message, drop us a comment, and you might see your question answered here on a future episode of 5 Question Friday. So bye, ciao, vidimo se.